Okay, hello again. This is now tarot lesson number 54. I'd like to tell you something first, and then I'll show you something that I've never shown you before. And then third part, I'd like to look at continuing on with the sample questions. So the first thing is, I started transcribing the tarot lessons, and I'm up to number 11, so I turn them into text that can be read, because with speaking it's one thing, you can wander off and ramble and it doesn't really matter, but if you're reading something, it has to be more structured and put together and make sense. So I'm now on lesson 11, and I'm thinking of what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these lessons, the transcripts that are expanded, and I give more information and more samples and more ideas, and I'm going to turn them into a Kindle and a paperback. So I'm at lesson number 11 now, and I may stop at 13 and make that a Kindle, or I may go to 17 and make that a Kindle. 13 lessons is about 35,000 words, and I can get it done by the end of September, I think. If I go to 17, it's going to be the end of October. If you have any comment, let me know in the comments down below. So that was point number 1. Point number 2 is, I want to show you this. I've never done this before. I was shown it a long time ago, and there's no obvious and immediate value or benefit in this exercise, but it's worth knowing about, and you ought to try it and see what you get from it. And also, if you can't get to sleep at night, do this, and you'll find you fall asleep and you sleep well. And what it is, it has to do with shapes of letters. So this is a letter A, right? Capital A. And the thing is, you look at that letter, you can go behind the letter and look at it from the back, and it's still an A. But you can't do that with every letter. So what you do is you go through the alphabet in your mind, and you imagine how the letter would look from the other side. Because if you take the letter B, right, and go behind a B, it's going to look like that. So it's reversed. So there's something different between A and B, which may or may not mean anything. And I, at this point, don't know what it means, or I don't have any particular idea about what it means. But you'll find that some letters you can look at from the other side and they remain the same, like the letter M. There's an M. You go behind and it looks like that. Whereas an N looks like that, but you go behind and it looks opposite. That means something. I don't know what at the moment, but there's something about it. And if you try this, you will discover things. But more importantly, probably, it's not so much what you discover, it's more the fact that it gets you more able to look at a card and make sense of it, because you're sort of training yourself or teaching yourself to look at something and see something in it, or see meaning in it. So you can try this or not, but I wanted to give you a concrete example. So if you take the word Adam, A-D-A, because we started with Adam and Eve in the Lover's card. If you take the letters A, D, A, and M, you can look from the other side, and it looks like A, D, A, M. So 75% of Adam, of the word Adam, is the same if you look at it from the other side, which means something, because the difference is, if you look at Eve and you look at Eve from the back, it looks like that. Eve, the V is the same. So with Adam, 75% or 25% of Adam changes or is different. With Eve, 33% of Eve stays the same, but 66% changes. So with Eve, you're dealing with an ability to change, an ability to adapt, maybe. But then you can maybe just, you play with the shape and in your mind and your imagination, because Adam, the letter A is 3 levels. You've got a level down here, a level in the middle, and a level at the top. And I may have said this before, that as you go up, as you increase in height and get further away from the earth, with Adam, you become more pointed. So maybe Adam is about, or letter A is about rising up to heaven, or rising up to understanding, or to an overview. This doesn't have to be heaven, but if you're on top of a mountain or top of a high hill, you've got a different angle of vision, and you can see more the big picture if you're up high. Whereas if you're down below on the surface of the earth, you can't really see what's going on particularly. But with A, it can be that kind of idea. With M, you reach up, you're forced down. You reach up, you're forced down again. So, and again, M is like this is at this level, and this level, in the letter A, and the letter M rather. Whereas with Eve, we've got the letter E, and we've got this level, and this level. But Eve, okay, it's the same as A because you've got 3 levels. But A is focusing in a certain direction. Eve, the letter E is parallel lines, as if what's down below is parallel with what's up above, so that what you get on the earth is going to be parallel with what you get on top of a hill or on top of a mountain when you've got an overview. So the overview in the letter E is the same as the view when you're on the earth. And when you're halfway between, it's parallel, but it's not as big. It's maybe half the understanding when you're in the middle of the letter E. So this may or may not mean anything, but it's the kind of thing to play with and see what you can make of it all. Whereas with Eve, we've got V, we're down. So Eve starts up here and she goes down and she reaches up again. So Eve is uplifting. The letter V rather is uplifting because you're forced down, but then you reach up again and you end up top. Whereas with the letter M, you start down below, you reach up, you're forced down, you reach up, you're forced down. You end up in a way where you began with the letter M, but with the letter V and Eve, you start here and you end there. And there's something, it's like an upside down. If keep your eye on that bit there and turn it up this way and put a bar across the middle, and you've got the letter A. What's the connection between the letter A and the letter V? So that's something to play with that may or may not be pointless, but it's not really pointless because you're going to be able to make more sense of cards because you're dealing with connections and seeing connections between things that most people don't see. And if you play with the letters of the alphabet and the shapes of the letters of the alphabet, you'll activate something in your mind. Maybe it's going to make you more intuitive, and that's a kind of benefit. I'm not big on intuition, partly because so much of it is guesswork, but maybe there's something about playing with the shapes of the letters and letting your imagination take you in a certain direction and trusting yourself that you're going to end up in a good place. Then when you come back to look at something specific like a card, you're going to be able to see more or make more sense of it. So the 5 sample questions I have here. So I want to do a bit more. What's the purpose of today? What's the purpose of life today? So what's the purpose of life? You do it once, but it changes, or there's more, or there's another side to it. So maybe what we do is if we want to practice, we think, okay, what's the secret of life? Today, tomorrow, yesterday. So what was the secret of life yesterday? The 5 of Batons. And that can be you. Okay, so the secret of life yesterday was to identify a number of different possibilities and place them or put them against each other, or make them fight it out, and make the different points or the different ideas have a little bit of combat, and see which of them can survive, which of them is strongest, or which of them is most adaptable. Because what does strength mean? Strength can be physical strength, where you can lift dead weights, but maybe you crumble when there's any kind of opposition. So you don't have maybe moral strength or philosophical strength. But with the 5 of Batons, we've got maybe. So you can take a number of different ideas and see which of them makes sense. So maybe you do a brainstorm, because that can look like if you've ever done a brainstorm where you take, imagine this is the bit of paper we're dealing with. So you've got, you put, let's put strength, STR, in the middle. And that's a brainstorm. And so you think strength, okay, it could be moral strength. It could be physical. And you go to a gym, you exercise, you walk. So you've got a whole bunch of related ideas, or ideas that might give you more information about how to develop strength, or what strength is, or what strength is not. And what's the opposite? Is it weakness? Or is the opposite of strength lack of courage? Which can give you some ideas about the strength card. So what's the opposite? What's strength reversed? Is it weakness, or is it lack of courage? And lack of confidence in the self, or lack of confidence in life that it's going to see you through. So this can be what the purpose of life was yesterday. That we write down, come up, or think about a number of different things that we believe in, or that we think are worth pursuing, and figure out which actually is worth pursuing. And the secret of life today is the Empress, the Queen of Pentacles. I saw the yellow and thought of the Empress, but the Queen of Pentacles. So today, the secret of life is be like a queen. What's a queen like? It's not a king. Queens are feminine and respond to circumstances, whereas kings go out and make things happen. So with the Queen of Pentacles, I frequently mention that Pentacles is money. So maybe it can be with the Queen of Pentacles. Think about what you're spending your money on. And that's the secret of life. So spend wisely. And spend wisely doesn't mean don't spend money. It doesn't have to mean save your money and don't spend anything. Because an example that I gave in some course sometime once, let's say, people say it's save for a rainy day, but is it a good idea to let's say somebody suggests that you go to an art class or a tarot class, and you think, well, it's going to cost me $50, but if I save the $50, I'll still have it. And so you save the $50, but you miss out on the meetings with the other people at the class, the information that you get from the class, the practice that you end up doing, the direction you end up going in because of the class. So it's not always wise to save money. Sometimes it's a good idea to spend because of where it's going to take you. And because the Queen of Pentacles is upright, if it had been upside down, then the secret of life is be careful about what you spend your money on. Whereas with the Queen of Pentacles upright, it's more like give yourself permission to spend. Because you can wonder, if you weren't supposed to buy that thing, why would you even have thought of it in the first place? This is maybe me just talking to me because I want to buy a new audio interface, but I've already got one and I don't need a second one, but it would be better. And so I'm sort of not going to buy it. Anyway, the Queen of Pentacles. Whereas tomorrow, what's the secret of life tomorrow? What's the purpose of life tomorrow? Is to settle down. Because I'm looking at the fellow on top of the tower, looking into the distance. So it's big thoughts, big ideas, but it's upside down. So maybe it's not saying don't do that. Maybe it's saying settle things down a bit and come down to earth and think, do you know what I mean? Things like that, because it's often we hold ourselves back by thinking small. And so the advice can be, okay, think big and go out and make things happen. But with the Two of Batons upside down, maybe the purpose of life tomorrow is going to be, by all means, you will, in the long run, do things in a big way. But tomorrow, settle down and come back to earth and maybe identify first principles or identify basic things that should be done every day. Maybe it's about establish your routine tomorrow, or tomorrow you're going to understand the value of having a routine, because people talk about that. Rather than try and do everything at once, you've got a routine and you make a little bit of progress every day in these different areas, and that's how you make progress, and that's how you get to the top of the top of the tower, as you would get with the Two of Batons upright, card representing success. Okay, this is shorter than the last one, but hope you enjoyed that. And today is Wednesday, so I need to count with my fingers again and go. I should have thought this Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Next Monday I'll be back. And as I say, if you have comments about how many chapters I should go for, 13 or 17, let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Okay, bye-bye.